All right, let's do this. This is Elliot, and this is your GRE question of the day. We've just got a one blank text completion. So remember the method here as you're reading through to give this a shot. You're going to want to think for yourself, what would some word you know that might fit well into that blank be, so that we can anticipate a little bit what the right answer should be. We'll use that word that we fill in our anticipation to match up with the answer choices and decide which one is the one that gets us the points. All right, so pause the video, give it a shot, and then we will walk through it together. All right, so this one says, though the followers of the sculptor's career knew her to be unpredictable, attendees were nonetheless something when she unveiled her impressively detailed new works at the latest gallery opening. So we got a couple of clues from the person who wrote this about what kind of a word is supposed to go in that blank. And I'm seeing one word in particular that to me offers a nice clue. What word are you seeing? What's the best clue here? Well, they knew her to be unpredictable, I think is a helpful indicator of what we're supposed to be looking for in the blank. So even though, right, that though tells us we're sort of building on the unpredictability, even though we already know she's unpredictable, we were still surprised, maybe. Okay, so attendees were nonetheless surprised, is certainly where my mind goes. Hopefully that's making sense to you. We were surprised when she unveiled her impressively detailed new works at the latest gallery opening. So first we can make a pass here. And again, verbal section, we're always leaning on the process of elimination. It's always easier to come up with technical reasons to eliminate stuff than it is to think you're going to be in perfect agreement on the verbal section, where it's sort of interpretive, unlike on math. Okay, so we're going to work the process of elimination, and we'll see if there's more than one left, things that could be a decent substitute for a word like surprised. Then we may need to dig in, get a little bit more granular to make that close call. But first, let's eliminate the ones that we know don't mean anything like surprised. We love seeing a word like disgusted in answer choice A, because hopefully you'll agree it's familiar to us. That comes up in regular conversation. We know that disgusted, grossed out means nothing like surprised. Hopefully we're all getting rid of that one. Nonplussed. Interesting. Nonplussed does sort of mean surprised. It's kind of like surprised and confused. So maybe not a perfect fit, but just being realistic to test A, I could see how that would probably survive this first round of the process of elimination. Answer choice C, astonished. That's like very surprised, right? Definitely a good substitute for a word like surprised. We're going to hang on to that one. Deviated, you don't see this too often, but that's not even an adjective, even though it sounds like one because the ed ending. Deviated is actually a verb. Deviated meaning like you break away, you deviate like from a path or from a routine. You don't do what you've been doing or what you would expect to do in a certain situation. We're going to get rid of that one, I think, for sure. And lastly, ecstatic. What's ecstatic mean? Ecstatic is just like so happy, like crazy out of this world happy. And that, of course, doesn't fit, not at all a synonym for surprised. So I could see how realistically we might be down to these two, nonplussed or astonished. Now, nonplussed is a little bit more, like we said, there's like confusion. It's like nonplussed, like I'm not sure what to do because I'm surprised, versus astonished, I'm like surprised, but also maybe like impressed. And that is where we're going to come to a good second clue here. She unveiled her impressively detailed new works. So it's a positive kind of being surprised that the attendees at the gallery opening are feeling. And if we can agree about that, nonplussed, it's maybe not straight up negative, but it's at least neutral, that we're sort of confused, maybe even a little bit negative of a word, versus astonished, that is a very positive sort of surprise in most contexts. Doesn't have to be, but surprised And very often impressed is another good synonym that is suggested there by a word like astonished. So a bit of a close call, but ultimately still not at all arbitrary. Nonplussed is not an appropriate word to use in this context. Astonished is the correct answer. Hope you're feeling good about this one. But if not, as always, I welcome more questions, or if you need some more help getting ready, I'm always happy to hear from you. You can message me at Herson Test Prep on Instagram and check us out with more GRE questions of the day, Monday through Friday. Until then, happy studying.